Good morning, my friends. Happy Monday. It's Monday. It's the busiest day of the week, at least for me. It's a crazy busy day. Every Monday is just cuckoo pants for me. I always have lots of one-on-ones, and then I have my coaching with my coach, my personal business coach, and I have gym, and I just have all the things. All the things. So, might as well jump on in. January 12th. Jacob sends gifts to Esau. Genesis 32, 1 through 21. As Jacob started on his way again, angels of God came to meet him. When Jacob saw them, he exclaimed, "This is God's camp." So he named the place Mahanaim. Then Jacob sent messengers ahead to his brother Esau, who was living in the region of Seir in the land of Edom. He told them, "Give this message to my master. I can't read. Doesn't say hunter, it says master. To my master Esau. Humble greetings from your servant Jacob. Until now I have been living with my uncle Laban, and now I own cattle, donkeys, flocks of sheep, and goats, and many servants, both men and women. I have sent these messengers to inform my lord of my coming, hoping that you will be friendly to me." After delivering the message, the messengers returned to Jacob and reported, "We met your brother Esau, and he is already on his way to meet you, with an army of 400 men." Jacob was terrified at the news. He divided his household along with the flocks and herds and camels into two groups. He thought, if Esau meets one group and attacks it, perhaps the other group can escape. Then Jacob prayed, "O God of my grandfather Abraham and God of my father Isaac, O Lord, you told me, 'Return to your own land and to your relatives,' and you promised me, 'I will treat you kindly.' I am not worthy of all the unfailing love and faithfulness you have shown to me, your servant. When I left home and crossed the Jordan River, I owned nothing except a walking stick. Now my household fills two large camps. O Lord, please rescue me from the hand of my brother Esau. I am afraid that he is coming to attack me, along with my wives and children. But you promised me, 'I will surely treat you kindly, and I will multiply your descendants until they become as numerous as the sands along the seashore, too many to count.'" Jacob stayed where he was for the night. Then he selected these gifts from his possessions to present to his brother Esau: 200 female goats, 20 male goats, 200 ewes, 20 rams, 30 female camels with their young, 40 cows, 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys, and 10 male donkeys. He divided these animals into herds and assigned each to a different servant. Then he told his servants, Go ahead of me with the animals, but keep some distance between the herds." He gave these instructions to the men leading the first group. "When my brother Esau meets you, he will ask, 'Whose servant are you? Where are you going? Who owns these animals?' You must reply, 'They belong to your servant Jacob, but they are a gift for his master Esau. Look, he is coming right behind us.'" Jacob gave the same instructions to the second and third herdsmen and to all who followed behind the herds. "You must say the same thing to Esau when you meet him, and be sure to say, 'Look, your servant Jacob is right behind us.'" Jacob thought, "I will try to appease him by sending gifts ahead of me. When I see him in person, perhaps he will be friendly to me." So the gifts were sent on ahead, and while Jacob himself spent the night in the camp. Jacob wrestles with God. Genesis 32, 22 through 32. During the night, Jacob got up and took his two wives, his two servants' wives, and his 11 sons, and crossed the Jabbok River with them. After taking them to the other side, he sent over all of his possessions. Then this left Jacob all alone in the camp, and a man came and wrestled with him until the dawn began to break. When the man saw that he would not win the match, he touched Jacob's hip and wrenched it out of its socket. Then the man said, "Let me go, for the dawn is breaking." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." "What is your name?" the man asked. He replied, "Jacob." "Your name will no longer be Jacob," the man told him. "From now on, you will be called Israel, because you have fought with God and with men and have won." "Please tell me your name," Jacob said. "Why do you want to know my name?" The man replied. Then he blessed Jacob there. Jacob called the place Peniel, which means face of God, for he said, "I have seen God face to face, yet my life has been spared." The sun was rising as Jacob left Peniel, and he was limping because of the injury to his hip. Even today, the people of Israel don't eat the tendon near the hip socket because of what happened that night when the man strained the tendon of Jacob's hip. Jacob and Esau make peace. Genesis 33, 1 through 20. Then Jacob looked up and saw Esau coming with 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and his 2 servant wives. He put the servant wives and their children at the front, Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph last. Then Jacob went on ahead. As he approached his brother, he bowed to the ground 7 times before him. Then Esau ran to meet him and embraced him, threw his arms around his neck, and kissed him, and they both wept. Then Esau looked at the women and children and asked, "Who are these people with you?" "These are the children God has graciously given to me, your servant," Jacob replied. Then the servant wives came forward with their children and bowed before him. Next, Leah came with her children, and they bowed before him. Finally, Joseph and Rachel came forward and bowed before him. "And what were all the flocks and herds I met as I came?" Esau asked. Jacob replied, "They are a gift, my lord, to ensure your friendship." "My brother, I have plenty," Esau answered. "Keep what you have for yourself." But Jacob insisted, "No, if I have found favor with you, please accept this gift from me. And what a relief to see your friendly smile. It is like seeing the face of God. Please take this gift I have brought you. For God has been very gracious to me. I have more than enough." And because Jacob insisted, Esau finally accepted the gift. "Well," Esau said, "let's be going. I will lead the way." But Jacob replied, "You can see, my lord, that some of my children are very young, and the flocks and herds have their young too. If they are driven too hard, even for one day, all the animals could die. Please, my lord, go ahead of your servant. We will follow slowly at a pace that is comfortable for the livestock and the children. I will meet you at Seir." "All right," Esau said, "but at least let me assign some of my men to guide and protect you." Jacob responded, "That's not necessary. It's enough that you've received me warmly, my lord." So Esau turned around and started back to Seir the same day. Jacob, on the other hand, traveled on to Succoth, where he built himself a house made of shelters for his livestock. That is why the place was named Succoth, which means shelter. Later, having traveled all the way from Paddan Aram, Jacob arrived safely at the town of Shechem in the land of Canaan. There, he set up camp outside the town. Jacob bought the plot of land where he camped from the family of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 pieces of silver. And there he built an altar and named it El Elohe Israel. Revenge against Shechem. Genesis 34, 1 through 31. One day, Dinah, the daughter of Jacob and Leah, went to visit some of the young women who lived in the area. When the local prince, Shechem, son of Hamor, the Hivite, saw Dinah, he seized her and raped her. But then he fell in love with her, and he tried to win her affection with tender words. He said to his father, Hamor, "Get me this young girl. I want to marry her." Soon Jacob heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter Dinah. But since his sons were out in the field herding his livestock, he said nothing until they returned. Hamor, Shechem's father, came to discuss the matter with Jacob. Meanwhile, Jacob's sons had come in from the field, and as soon as they heard what had happened, they were shocked and furious that their sister had been raped. Shechem had done a disgraceful thing against Jacob's family, something that should never be done. Hamor tried to speak with Jacob and his sons. "My son Shechem is truly with your daughter," he said. "Please let him marry her. In fact, let's arrange other marriages too. You give us your daughters for our sons, and we will give you our daughters for your sons. And you may live among us. The land is open to you. Settle here and trade with us, and feel free to buy property in the area." Then Shechem himself spoke to Dinah's father and brothers. "Please be kind to me and let me marry her," he begged. "I will give you whatever you ask. No matter what dowry or gift you demand, I will gladly pay it. Just give me the girl as my wife." But since Shechem had defiled their sister Dinah, Jacob's son responded deceitfully to Shechem and his father Hamor. They said to them, "We couldn't possibly allow this because you're not circumcised. It would be a disgrace for our sister to marry a man like you. But here's the solution. If every man among you will be circumcised like we are, then we will give you our daughters, and we'll take your daughters for ourselves. We will live among you and become one people. But if you don't agree to be circumcised, we will take her and be on our way." Hamor and his son Shechem agreed to their proposal. Shechem wasted no time in acting on this request, for he wanted Jacob's daughter desperately. Shechem was a highly respected member of his family, and he went with his father Hamor to present this proposal to the leaders at the town gate. These men are our friends, they said. Let's invite them to live here among us and trade freely. Look, the land is large enough to hold them. We can take their daughters as wives and let them marry ours. But they will consider staying here and becoming one people with us only if all of our men are circumcised, just as they are. But if we do this, all their livestock and possessions will eventually be ours. Come, let's agree to their terms and let them settle here among us. So all the men in the town council agreed with Hamor and Shechem, and every male in the town was circumcised. But 3 days later, when their wounds were still sore, two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, who were Dinah's full brothers, took their swords and entered the town without opposition. Then they slaughtered every male there, including Hamor and his son Shechem. They killed them with their swords, and then took Dinah from Shechem's house and returned to their camp. Meanwhile, the rest of Jacob's sons arrived. Finding the men slaughtered, they plundered the towns because their sister had been defiled there. They seized all the flocks and herds and donkeys, everything they could lay their hands on, both inside the town and outside in the fields. They looted all their wealth and plundered their houses. They also took all their children and wives and led them away as captives. Afterward, Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have ruined me. You've made me stink among all the people of this land, among all the Canaanites and Perizzites. We are so few that they will join forces and crush us. I will be ruined, and my entire household will be wiped out." "But why should we let him treat our sister like a prostitute?" they retorted angrily. Jacob's return to Bethel, Genesis 35, 1 through 15. Then God said to Jacob, "Get ready and move to Bethel and settle there. Build an altar there to the God who appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau." So Jacob told everyone in his household, "Get rid of all your pagan idols, purify yourselves, and put on clean clothing. We are now going to Bethel, where I will build an altar to the God who answered my prayers while I was in distress. He has been with me wherever I have gone." So they gave Jacob all their pagan idols and earrings, and he buried them under the great tree near Shechem. As they set out, a terror from God spread over the people in all the towns of that area, so no one attacked Jacob's family. Eventually, Jacob and his household arrived at Luz, also called Bethel, in Canaan. Jacob built an altar there and named the place El Bethel, which means God of Bethel, because God had appeared to him there when he was fleeing from his brother Esau. Soon after this, Rebekah's old nurse, Deborah, died. She was buried beneath the oak tree in the valley below Bethel. Ever since, the tree has been called Allon Bacuth, which means oak of weeping. Now that Jacob had returned from Paddan Aram, God appeared to him again at Bethel. God blessed him, saying, "Your name is Jacob, but you will not be called Jacob any longer. From now on, your name will be Israel." So God renamed him Israel. Then God said, "I am El Shaddai, God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. You will become a great nation, even many nations. Kings will be among your descendants, and I will give you the land I once gave to Abraham and Isaac. Yes, I will give it to you and your descendants after you." Then God went up from the place where he had spoken to Jacob. Jacob set up a stone pillar to mark the place where God had spoken to him. Then he poured wine over it as an offering to God and anointed the pillar with olive oil. And Jacob named the place Bethel, which means house of God, because God had spoken to him there. The death of Rachel, Genesis 35, 16 through 27. Leaving Bethel, Jacob and his clan moved towards Ephrath, but Rachel went into labor while they were still some distance away. Her labor pains were intense. After a very hard delivery, the midwife finally exclaimed, "Don't be afraid, you have another son." Rachel was about to die, but with her last breath, she named the baby Ben-Oni, which means son of my sorrow. The baby's father, however, called him Benjamin, which means son of my right hand. So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is, Bethlehem. Jacob set up a stone monument over Rachel's grave, and it can be seen there to this day. Then Jacob traveled on and camped beyond Migdal Eder, which, while he was living there, Reuben had intercourse with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Jacob soon heard about it. These are the names of the 12 sons of Jacob. The sons of Leah were Reuben, Jacob's oldest son, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's servant, were Dan and Naphtali. The sons of Zilpah, Leah's servant, were Gad and Asher. These are the names of the sons who were born to Jacob at Paddan Aram. So Jacob returned to his father Isaac in Mamre, which is near Kiriath Arba, now called Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had both lived as foreigners. Okay. I need, hold on. Our book is over here. No, where is it? It's up here. Okay. All right. So we're on somewhere. Okay. I think we're on page 132. Being thoughtful regarding how we grow and in what ways we grow is a beautiful and incredibly fruitful endeavor. I'm working under the assumption that you purchased this book or began reading it with the intention of growing and the hope of receiving information about how to do so. This is good, worthy stuff. But I've got a Jesseism coming your way, a sideways question you might not have considered before. Do you know why you want to grow? Let's get specific. As it pertains to having a kingdom minded mentality, to experience freedom in your body, why do you want to grow? What is the motivation for this growth, this movement? I'm all for Jesus-y answers if you mean them, but I suggest we make this a brave space where we can all unzip and be honest about the desires of our hearts. In order to lead well, I'll go first and tell you a few inclinations I found roaming around my own mind. I desire to work on my body image because I want other people to think I'm okay. I believe I won't seem as broken if this part of me is fixed. We'll come back to that later. While I'm feeling resolute, I'll get another one out. I want to work on my body image because I perceive it will make me more desirable. If I'm free, healthy, and confident, and other people will want to know me and be around me. And finally, I desire to be at ease. I want to get my heart and body in alignment with God's will so I can finally take a deep breath and live at ease with who I am. What's the point in asking such in-depth questions about why we want to grow? Why pull this thread and examine our hearts with such intensity? I promise it's not because I want to wallow in morbid introspection, but rather it's because I found that misplaced desires and motives keep me from seeing the abundance, healing, and freedom I already have. It's the motivations that are not rooted in the truth of God that have kept me from restoration. And if I believe that God created my body good, then I'm not working to make my body good, but endeavoring to see it restored to its original creation. A few days ago, I let myself name these deviated desires and motives in the privacy of my journal. Divulging my motives, good or bad, is one of my favorite pastimes, and I found that honesty with God often leads to discovering the abundance that has been there all along. When I've gone into the secret place and poured out my heart to Him, no matter how terrifying it is, the refreshment that comes usually wells up out of my mouth and into my life. And I can't keep the healing that comes from being heard by Him inside, and the confession of my healing produces fruit. Asking why I want to grow often leads me to how I can grow. You feel me? Okay, that's where we stopped the last time we read it. I'll stop right there. All right. Excuse me. Oh, thank you, girls. I've been wanting to braid it for a while, but I always have these little pieces. Like I like to separate my braids, so they're fuller and not super tight. But when I do, all these little pieces fall out. So I end up not doing it very often. But also, I always have had real trouble braiding my hair, holding my arms up to do it. But now that I'm strength training, I can do that. Meredith says, can you imagine nowadays being angry at a sibling enough to gather 400 men to help chase him down? I don't even know 400 people. Because my Lord was a term of leadership. It was a term of respect back then. It wasn't only a term of a name for the Lord, for the way we perceive the term Lord. It was Lord lowercase, as in my master, my leader, the person I respect. And anytime they said my Lord, it was a term of respect. Prayers for my son, please. He started his very long day in class today. Every Monday this semester, he's in class from 7. Oof! 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's a long day. Maybe that's the answer he's looking for, Dana, because he wants you to start calling him my lord. He's trying to make you say it so that he can say, see, it's a term of respect. Call me my lord. Oh, yes. Pray for Karen Dalton. She lost her sister. Her sister was very, very, very ill with dementia, Alzheimer's type sickness, and was very, very poorly. And she passed this weekend, I think, kind of unexpectedly. So we definitely need to lift Karen up because I'm sure it's very difficult to say goodbye, even given the situation of how sick she was mentally. She was just not there. Like she didn't know who Karen was and stuff, and that's been very trying for Karen and very hard. So definitely lift her up. Yeah, exactly. Kind of like sir or ma'am. I'm gonna start doing that every time I go out to eat and it's a male server. I'm gonna be like, "Yes, my lord. Thank you, my lord," instead of sir. Can you imagine? You're going to pay for your gas. Thank you, sir. Thank you, my lord. That would be awesome. We should do it. We should do it. I would totally. We just record it and record everybody's um, reactions. All right, my friends, let's go ahead and end in prayer. God, our Father, we thank you for our day. Thank you for another Monday, another fresh start, a day to recognize the week ahead of us as an opportunity to serve you and glorify you with everything we do. God, I lift up each woman here to you today with the many struggles they are going through. I pray for my friend Cindy and her illness, that she would begin to feel better. I pray for Jackie as well, that you would heal her, and that pray that she's beginning to feel better. And I know she was just coming down with it, so I'm sure she's in the thick of it, and we just lift her up to you and ask for strength and healing for her. God, we pray for Melissa and her son as he goes through a very long day of studies, and just ask for strength for him and for Melissa. God, we also lift up Karen to you today after the loss of her sister. We just pray that you would bring peace to her heart, God, and as she goes through this time of grief, I just ask for strength for Karen and peace for her heart. God, as we go through our days, may we honor you with everything that we say and do, our actions, what we choose to eat, what we choose not to eat. Help us to honor you with everything we say and do. In your precious name, amen. All right, girls. So if you plan on going to the gathering, has anybody seen what time the tickets are going on sale? Has it been said what time the tickets are going on sale today? Somebody had mashed potatoes. That looks good. I was just looking. I don't know. I'm sure they said somewhere, and I just don't know. 8 a.m. Central, so 9 a.m. So in less than an hour, y'all. Okay, less than an hour. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Did y'all see the advertisement? Did y'all see the advertisement? There's KJ. I'm on it. I made the ad. How cool. Look. Oh my gosh. Cannot wait. All right, my friends. I love you so much. Go do something good for yourself today, like go work out. Pluck the gray hairs from your braid. Yeah. You will, Ruby. You will. You got it, girl. You got it. I know you will. You girls got it. I can't wait. I can't wait. All right. I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing